Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody with an invisible condition, no matter what that condition is, to know beyond a shadow of a doubt that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never, ever alone. Here on Invisible Condition, we know life can be tough. When you have an invisible condition, life can be tough. I totally get it. Believe me, I've been there. I've been there. 7 brain surgeries over my lifetime. I've been there. Life can be crazy. We also know that there is always hope. And so if you are in a place where hope has eluded you for a while, come back to us. Join us. It's a beautiful place. Hope is a beautiful place to be. And we invite you back. Join us in the land of hope. It's great. If you have trouble or don't know how to get there, I'm going to put an email address on the screen here in a minute, and shoot me an email. I'd love to talk to you about it. Hope is a beautiful thing, and nobody should be without it. So let me know. So I want to talk to you about our nonprofit side of the show first, before we bring our amazing guest on today. And that nonprofit side is called Hydro with Hope. And Hydro with Hope was designed, was created about 3 years ago to help people with a condition that I was born with, which is called hydrocephalus. And that is a crazy condition, as I mentioned earlier, that requires brain surgery every once in a while. This is going to sound crazy, kind of a funny statement to hear for most of you, but I'm thankful that I've only had 7 brain surgeries, because some people with my condition that are half my age sometimes has had 10 times the number of surgeries. You just never know. It's a very unpredictable condition. And so I wanted to be there to help families and be that practical boots on the ground help, talking to the families, helping them through that crazy experience of, wow, my child's going to have brain surgery again. We even created a journal, fill in the blank journal, to help families with that experience that we can send to you. So if you are interested in hearing more about that or supporting our nonprofit at hydrowithhope.com, I would love to talk to you. Just shoot me an email and let's talk. And then we can have that conversation. We're actually growing our board now. So if you know somebody that might be a great board member to help us grow, that would be awesome as well. So not to mention advertisers and sponsors. If for the show, if you've been watching for a while and you know that there's somebody that should be getting the word out about their business on our show, I'd love to have a conversation. Let's talk. So always excited to meet new advertisers and sponsors that want to, get out to our audience. So here we go. All right. Now let's put this back on the screen so we know who everybody is. Now I'm going to bring on our guest. Our guest is amazing. Her name is Barbara Ringrose. And Barbara has faced some of the craziest challenges in her life, from her own childhood trauma to watching her daughter endure that trauma as well. And so, but Barbara's story doesn't stop there. It's one of remarkable strength and transformation, honestly. She earned a degree in biology, built a successful 22-year career in the mortgage industry, and has become a powerful advocate for women finding healing and authenticity through connection. Isn't that what it's about? Connection. That's actually how I met Barbara. We'll talk about that in a networking group of all things that's amazing at connecting people. So as the co-creator of Optimize Her 2 podcast and an active leader in the Women Optimizing Women community, Barbara reminds us that even after deep pain, growth and purpose are still out there and still possible. So let's bring her on the show. Let's see what we're going to do today. Barbara, thank you so much for being here, man. This is going to be awesome.
Oh, thank you, Jeff. And that was very inspiring listening to about your invisible condition. I appreciate you inviting me to come on to Invisible Condition.
Absolutely, man. I love it. This is awesome. I always love how I find people to come on this show, right? And you and I are part of a networking group that's just amazing. So we'll NRG Studios, right? That's the name of the network referral group, right? So I'm so
Correct.
thankful for them. I'm thankful for you. I'm thankful for all the people that I've met and the connections you made and everything. So it's really cool. I do have one question that I like to ask everybody before we start. No wrong answers here. Everything's good. And the question is this: in the darkest, craziest times that you were have experienced during, trauma, all that stuff, when you're at the darkest time, how do you still maintain hope?
That's a tough one. That's a real tough one because when you're down that far, all you can think of is an escape, whether that's a physical escape, doing something even harm to another person to escape them. Of course, there's the S escape, and there's drugs, alcohol. There's many different escapes.
Mhm.
I think the one thing, and I looked at your book behind or your plaque there behind you while you were speaking. I think prayer. Prayer was the one thing that got me through this entire time.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I agree. Pray more, worry less. That's a beautiful. It's that's why it's there, because it's a constant reminder for me too.
Right.
So yeah, that's awesome. I love that answer. Fantastic. So yeah, let's dive in here. Your story's pretty interesting. It's got some incredibly painful things going on early in life. Do you mind just taking us back to that childhood and then just letting us know kind of how that shaped you as you grew up?
Well, of course, it all starts somewhere. And at the beginning, you're
Right.
with this family. Your father's a Boy Scout leader. Your mother's, teaching at the local church. You have 5 other siblings. You seem like the normal family. And then boom, one day you wake up and your father is gone. The man that taught you and your siblings everything, he was the provider for the household. And boom, that happens. And then, of course, your mother blames you that because you were his favorite, that he left because of you. You made it happen. So living with that stigmatism for a while is pretty difficult when I'm at 14 years old. And of course, any time to have your family break up is a bad time.
Yeah.
But that particular time, I think, in my life was just horrific.
It's hard enough when you're a teenager, man. You're already dealing with enough. Yeah. But
that wasn't bad enough because
Right.
then the next summer, that was the first summer when I was 14, when I was 15, I had an unfortunate situation where I was walking home from my girlfriend's house. It's summertime. It's hot. This young man in a little Triumph comes pulling up to the curb and says, "Hey, do you need a ride?" And of course, my mother, how many times told me never accept a ride from strangers.
Right.
But we hitchhiked back then. We traveled across the country back then. We hitchhiked, me and my girlfriends, to Ocean City, Maryland. That's the kind of thing we did. And everyone knew everyone in the community. Little did I expect that he would take me to the liquor store and then back to a remote area at the local reservoir, and then proceeded to do what he wanted to do with me. Then took me home, dropped me off, and here I am, just totally what the heck happened, because it's like deer in the headlights. You can't believe this just happened. You didn't scream. You were too afraid. And then I wouldn't tell my mother. I could not tell her, because she would have said, "What did I tell you?" And now you know.
Right.
Now what's your father going to say? And you've added enough problems to that. So as a 14, 15-year-old, all of these things are going through your head. Like you said, being a teenager is tough enough. So that was pretty traumatic for me, those back-to-back experiences. I think what it did was it reduced me to a rubble for many years, and left me, I don't like to use self-esteem, but it left me totally empty inside, joy taken and so forth, and confidence. It strips you of your confidence when you have something like that happen. One incident's enough. 2 back-to-backs pretty hard.
Yeah.
And then you can't tell anybody.
Right. Well, no, you don't feel like you can tell anybody, because of maybe threats the person made, or what, like if you tell anybody, then we're gonna, I mean, there's all kinds of reasons, but the shame and the guilt and all the things that just pile on, as if that's not enough, right?
The
Yeah.
interesting thing is he was a stellar young man. I learned in the community later on that was going through residency in one of the local area hospitals.
What?
And yeah, that was pretty big. I had never seen him before, but I found out.
Wow. Well, so saying anything probably would have destroyed his future, but if anybody believed you, which is probably another thing altogether, but yeah, wow, that's a lot for a 14, 15-year-old to deal with
and keep that inside.
Yeah, and keep it in because you can't say anything. Good Lord.
But what's something that like that does to a female? Already I'm displaced from my father. He's no longer in the house. There's a lot of static there for anybody who's been through divorce in the family with opposition, between parents, blaming and so forth. And the children are left, what do we do? We're to blame. And, for the next several decades, you're going through a lot of internal grieving, almost like a death, because your soul has died. And then as you grow older, you don't have the respect for self. And turning to alcohol was pretty common back then. So that was an easy remedy. Thank God I didn't really get into drugs back then. And I can tell you, what it did was it made me, those things then led me to make very, very bad choices for a very long period of time.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's almost like you don't know what to do. So it's like, well, let's try this, I don't, it's, bad choices I find that to be kind of common in that situation. Anytime that there's childhood trauma or anything like that, it's like, well, just get me out of this, get me out of this situation, get me out of this mindset at all costs. Just get me out,
Well, you fear you will be to blame. I feared I would be to blame. And you heard back at that time, and still I think it's present day, if you go to the police and talk to them. Actually, I accompanied someone when she was raped on a vacation, and the police interrogated her like she was the perpetrator and then asked so many questions. So that if you go to the police, and that's why rapes are so underreported.
Yeah. Which is so backwards to me. I've never understood why that's the case. Not that they're underreported. I understand why they're underreported, but what I don't understand is why, when you as the victim go to the police, why they don't take you seriously. There's,
It must be part of their training, the interrogation, because they want to make sure that you're telling the truth. Here I am, a young lady, and the girl I was with was about the same age when it happened to her. You're young, and I think, and of course, alcohol was involved in both situations. I may have had a beer or two. I don't think I was inebriated by any stretch. I know she was at the time it happened with her. And I think the police want to kind of weed that out, that you're telling the truth. And that may be part of how their training went. Present day, I'm sure they're treated a little bit differently. I would hope they are.
Yeah, it's true that you don't want to just prosecute, people left and right willy-nilly. They want to make sure the story is legit, I suppose. Yeah, that makes sense. That's still rough to go through as a woman, though. It's like, as anybody, that's rough to not be believed, when it's true.
And I think one of the things too, Jeff.
Looks like the internet decided to freeze up on us.
Office. There we go. We were learning office methods and so forth. So I had a lot of routine in my schooling that I did not necessarily have at home, which gave me balance. Although outside of school, I was making bad choices. But I think once I got into the employment arena after we graduated, there was some sort of stability, but still the bad choices continued.
Mm.
It's almost like fleas or something. You can shake them, but they just don't want to leave. They just kind of hang around. You
Yeah.
just can't get rid of them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, you know what? I will say I'm glad you didn't dive into anything worse than alcohol. It could have been a lot worse.
And I saw a lot of girls do that, actually.
Yeah, and that doesn't improve anything. I mean, if anything, that just goes the wrong direction. That spiral just keeps on going. So
and
well
what it
done.
does too, when you have trauma happen to you, when you feel less than, when you can't be the best that you are meant to be, you then accept less. You accept a relationship with someone else who comes from a divorce. You accept somebody else who is using drugs or substance, and maybe somebody that's not as stellar as you would have chosen under other circumstances, because you now feel less than.
Right. Yeah. And it's kind of like hurting people hurt people, right? So when you feel less than, that doesn't help anybody.
Yeah. It's a spiral. And I can tell you, when I met my children's father, it was a similar situation, accepting somebody who was a lot less than and clinging on to each relationship. You're looking for love, the displaced love of a father, displaced love of a family. You're constantly looking for love. And I think a lot of young ladies and older women too, that have had this experience, could pretty much say the same thing. And maybe after marital breakup, many men may feel the same way, that they just don't feel the love, the affection from the family unit or from their parental units that they did when they were younger. And there's an emptiness, there's a hole there.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's understandable. It's totally understandable. But the cool thing, so all of that to say, I mean, that is a childhood that nobody would wish on anybody, I think. And it is rough, and it's a miracle that you made it out. I mean, you're here, and it's affected you. It's affected your life. How can it not? But you're here, and we're having this conversation, and I think we're gonna, actually, this is a really good time to I think we're at a good time to take a break. But when we come back, I want to kind of go to the other side of this, because yes, that is the growing up part. That is the part that was like the rough, the terrible, but you have redeemed it like crazy. I mean, it's awesome what you're doing now. And I really want to talk about that a little bit on the other side of the break, so that we can invite people to reach out to you and see all the amazing things you're doing. So
sounds amazing.
Yeah, let's do it. So everybody stick around. Don't go anywhere. We are going to be back in just a couple of minutes, and we'll see you soon. All right. Hey, everybody. Just wanted to touch base with you about a sponsor that we have, which we love, because I love coffee. I don't know about you guys. I love coffee. I have been a total coffee nerd for years, and I love coffee. Did I mention that? If a bag of coffee doesn't have a roast date on it that's within the last couple of weeks, I don't want to have anything to do with it. I'm that kind of guy. And so that's why I'm so thankful for Mike at Roast to Order Coffee. They get it. They roast the beans fresh. They ship them to your door, and they're always coming up with new amazing varieties, flavors, types of coffee, methods of making the coffee. There's the beans, but then there's also the little pods, Keurig type of pods. They got those too. And anything you want, they've got it. They're making coffee drinkers happy all over the country. So whether you love Ethiopian light roast, espresso, decaf, flavored coffee, they've got you covered. E-gift cards are something that they have as well. So it's fourth quarter. Christmas is coming up fast. So if you have a coffee nerd in your family, like me, I have several in my family. It's not just me. I had to learn it from somewhere. Use the QR code. You can hook them up with a coffee subscription, which they would love you for. And anything you buy with that QR code will be 20% off your first order. So go ahead and jump on that, and we'll see you in just a minute.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
Hey everybody, Craig Tomanini here, founder and CEO of Ask Craig T, and I wanted to do a quick reminder about our podcast every Friday, 9 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. You can find us on YouTube and on all of our social media platforms, so be sure you tune in. Don't miss all the valuable information we're going to give you about how to scale your business using technology.
Are you being priced out of healthcare? Tired of the prices skyrocketing and having to go to doctors dictated by a network? We feel your pain and have the solution, a nonprofit approach that is ethical and affordable. Take a moment to learn about a way that works better and feels better than health insurance.
Hey everyone, Coach Greg here from Living Empowered TV, where we help women live empowered lives through amazing guests, life hacks, mental, physical, and emotional health. See us on the Achieve Network, 12 o'clock Wednesdays Pacific time on E360 TV. Don't miss out.
All right. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you, Barbara, for being here. This is amazing. Very excited that you're here and talking to us. And if you didn't catch her story in the first segment, go back and watch it because it's good and it's powerful and you're going to want to hear that. And that's setting us up for the second segment, which I really wanted to pivot here and talk to you all out there about her organization, her group that she's got that's called Women Optimizing Women. And I had the QR code up there with the website for about half that first segment, but we never really talked about it. So, and as long as we're talking about putting stuff on the screen, let me do this too. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, comment. If you have a question, if Barbara says something that you're like, oh, me too, or you have a question or a light bulb goes off, or you want to get in touch with her and you can't scan the QR code somehow, well, for some reason, drop a comment on YouTube or Facebook and we'll get in touch with you that way. And she can reach out that way. But scan that QR code so you can learn more about what she's doing, which I would invite you, Barbara, to tell everybody what they'll find when they go there.
Well, I think you'll find my story, and my story, unfortunately, the problems persisted for quite some time after that. It wasn't good. It kept continuing on until finally one day, my children's father attacked me in our church parking lot, and I was seen by the local priest, and we were on the verge of he had left 3 days before Christmas. 1993, sorry. He then kept stalking me, doing all kinds of things, threatening me, the children, and so forth. I had no job, had no money, had no income. We were totally indigent. We were looking at foreclosure and bankruptcy, all in the matter of months. My whole world turned upside down. It crashed. It didn't turn upside down. It just literally crashed. I had never cried so much in my entire lifetime. I don't even know if I cried over the situation with my father and the other bad situation anywhere near as I did. It was like months of tears.
Sure.
And then it was this priest who witnessed what many other people in the parking lot had witnessed that one day in the spring, late spring. And he said, I don't mean to pry, but I saw something there and I want to know if you need help. He handled it very, very, very well. He could have handled it a lot of
That's
ways.
amazing.
And I was like an empty shell at that point in time.
Yeah.
Totally, totally devastated. Then I was looking at either going to the local shelter with a 2-year-old, 4-year-old, and 5-year-old, or sleeping in the back of an old Mercury Marquis.
Oh,
And
amazing.
neither one of those situations was appealing, nor was the one he presented me with, but it certainly was a lot better than what I had available to me at the time. My family totally deserted me after a period of time. And he said that there was a church, a local church, a sister parish in the next county that they used to have the nuns live in this rectory house down there. And he said they had converted it to a women's shelter for women who were looking to go to college or already taking college courses. Well, I had already started taking college courses because I knew my situation was bad. I could not get a job.
Yeah.
And interestingly enough, when this older lady, a little bit portly, came to my house, a little plump, with silver hair, she was a retired social worker in Baltimore City. And she came, we were living out of my mother's basement in a one room, me and the 3 children.
Okay.
We had to get rid of our 2 dogs and our 2 Dobermans, which was gut wrenching.
Yeah.
And she sat and talked to me probably for an hour and a half, asking me a lot of questions, some of which I divulged here to you and others today. And I was the first one selected for this program in Baltimore County, Maryland. It was called Interim House, and it still exists. I think it still exists today.
Nice.
And they gave you housing accommodations. You had to live like a communal type lifestyle and so forth. But I found that building to be my fortress.
Yeah. Yeah.
Felt rescued.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I can understand that wouldn't be ideal, like, oh man, now I have no private space. Right. But it's better than where you were. Right. So
well, the interesting thing was it was a 2-year program. I got out of it in 10 months. Of course, I had to go on social services. I had to get Section 8 housing, all of the things people don't want to hear about or they think bad things about today. Well, all I can tell you, it was my savior at the time. And I definitely was one of those people that was in need. And as soon as I could get off, I got off of it.
Oh, yeah.
I ended up, you mentioned a biology degree. I felt that if I got a biology degree, I could become a specialized nurse, a nurse practitioner, a physician assistant. I could go all over and take care of my children where I could not for a couple of years.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's an amazing career to choose too. Actually, we've got in my wife's family, there's multiple people that are nurses, and it's an incredible career to choose. It's awesome.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Taking care of others and the reward. Of course, there's some things that maybe don't go as well as you would like in your caretaking and so forth. But I thought it would be a great occupation. However, when I graduated and then went on to apply for the physician assistant program, at that time, like in 1999, 2000, they were just starting to use them. They hadn't given them their prescription license yet. They could, they were somewhat limited, and so were the classroom sizes. And I decided, you know what? I'll work on my master's in counseling. I'll go back to school. I'll do long-term substitute teaching. I'll work, at getting my master's in counseling. And just about almost at the very end of my master's in counseling, this gentleman came into the program and said, hey, I want to meet with each one of your students independently. And he did that for about an hour. And after we reviewed all of my past, I had been a real estate agent, I had done banking, I had sold jewelry, I was an entrepreneur, of course, raising kids, going to college. He said to me, I think you're a mortgage loan officer.
Sure.
And I'm like, what in the world is that? And that was like other than when the priest came to me and rescued me from that parking lot, that was the next magnificent moment. That was the next elevation, where I was moving upward and I was no longer staying down below. I felt that much more confident that I then got a job. It took me a year to get into it. Actually, I stopped the master's program. I should have continued. I only had a couple more courses to take. That was not good of me, but in hindsight, of course. Yeah. But neither was getting into the car of a young man in a Triumph when I was 15 years old.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Sure.
But the interesting thing is that gave me the stability, that gave me the confidence so that I could put a roof over my children's heads. I no longer needed to depend on someone to help me.
Yeah.
And I could feed them. And I became respected in the community. And of course, there was always that fear. I lived in fear for a long time that someone would uncover where I came from and hold that against me. I remembered that rape situation and how young ladies and women were treated. And I had that fear there would be a stigmatism. Yeah. And that was something I had to overcome as well.
Right. Yeah. And there's a lot to overcome there. But the cool thing is, though, you have you've created something out of all of this that you've done. You have a job history like I do. I feel like I've done just about everything you can do except waving one of those signs outside of a business, like I've got such a colorful job history, but when you find something that you love to do, then it's all good. And so what you found in your like what's on this website here that we put on the website, the Women Optimizing Women, where did that come out of any certain particular thing, or was it just kind of the culmination of everything you've experienced and you're like, we got to do something better?
Sure. I mean, every step that I took along the way as I became more steadfast and confident, I realized that women needed a place where they could come together in a safe place to discuss pretty much anything that they wanted with other women, not at a chamber event where they felt like they were less than because maybe they didn't have the practice of networking. You know what networking's like. And also that they could learn to build relationships, establish rapport, gain their confidence, because a lot of ladies out there, they just don't feel that confidence level. That's real. Women have about 65% of the student loan debt. Why? Because they choose to go and become a social worker, the soft skills, if you will. Yeah. And then they come out, and that I know someone with a master's degree in social work, $250,000 later, she got a $60,000 a year job. Oh. That's not sustainable. No. You cannot live, you cannot buy a car, you cannot buy a house. Right. So I think one of the things I saw is women need to have a place where they can go that's safe, that they can have deep conversations, that they can confide, find support in each other. And I decided, I'm going to create this women's networking group. And what we'll do is 10 months out of the year, we'll rotate to different professionals' offices in the local area. Cool. And we will showcase them. We'll give them time for them to then talk about their business, what they do, introduce themselves to the community. And then WOW was born. The young ladies of the group says, well, you have to name it. And they named it WOW, Women Optimizing Women. That was not me. They gave it a logo. That was not me. These young ladies felt like we need to have some status in the community. So I look at it that women coming together can do and create so many amazing things. And that was the beginning. That was over 13 years ago.
Love it. Oh, man. So, and that's And that's the cool thing, is because like everybody came together and created it for you. Like you said, you didn't come up with all this stuff. That's the best part. I know somebody else with a story like that too. She's like, you know what? Somebody else came up with the logo. Somebody else came up with the business name, and I just kind of fell into it. And so those are the best kind, because you know it's in demand, because people are coming up with stuff to help. And
now we
so
had a group. No, we were democratic in our approach.
Yeah.
We had a vote. It wasn't
Okay.
that, one person dictated to the rest of the
No.
group. So we were
Yeah.
very, very good about how it was presented. And we even had a candle that we named Chit Chat, Chai Chit Chat, which was interesting. One of the girls was into candle making at the time. And then WOW just grew from that. And I did that. Of course, 2020 came and we could no longer get together. So we had to put things on pause. We got back together, and then it was one too many corporate conference calls that I knew it was time for me to retire prematurely by 18 months.
Okay. Well, but the cool thing is you had already put this was already in place. And so that's
Kind of.
sort of.
Yeah, because then it was the LLC in May of 2022. I had a mentor at the local community college, says you have a business, you got a logo, you got a following, you've been doing this for a long time, you know what you're doing.
Right.
And then next thing you know, I'm getting a website built and being asked all kinds of questions, what kind of pages, and you're learning as you go.
Yeah.
And then 2.5 years later, you're finding that, wow, we've really accomplished a lot here at WOW. And these ladies are just so wonderful. If your listeners, viewers could go to wowwomenus.com, they would see the member directory and see all the different diverse occupations of the ladies. And they could also see that we give each year to some nonprofits that are on our website. We believe in giving back. So 10% of our membership fees goes to these nonprofits. I also created a 501c3 this year in March, so that if any of the WOW members would like to, they may need some funds for a books, for a course or a computer, laptop. Some people, their computer's too old, they can't function. They can then submit a request, and it goes before a committee. That committee then decides who gets the gift donation, which nonprofits get that in the first quarter of each year. And then also who and how much the applicant gets that is requesting funds for help.
That's beautiful. So you're basically, you're helping your nonprofit's helping people. And that's the idea, is to help other women get on their feet and get what they need to be successful. Right. And that's the name of the game. And
so, it's just been an amazing journey, Jeff. It's interesting how one thing, seeing the need for women to come together, we didn't have anything like that. And what was available was more like those wine and sip events where the ladies would come together. And I thought they were a little too chatty about others in the community.
Not all groups are created equal. We'll just say it that way, right?
They were business ladies, but they weren't looking to really bring together those business interests of the other women in the community. And that was something I wanted to really work on.
Yeah. So if people, and we'll go into this in the next segment, because we're going to go to a break soon, but when but I want you to, in the last segment, when we come back, I'd love for you to talk more about what WOW is and how people can be part of it, and how, because the QR code's there, man. We just want to make sure that everybody knows what they're getting into when they scan that, and how they can be a part of it. So
sounds amazing.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go to the break, and then we'll see you in just a couple minutes. We'll see you soon.
Tired of losing cell service in dead zones? Concerned about connectivity in emergencies? There is now an answer. Introducing the Love Pod. The world's first affordable encrypted global internet Wi-Fi hotspot connects with multiple service carrier networks and is satellite assisted when no service carrier networks are available. So it works virtually anytime, anywhere. Connect up to 9 devices, like our cell phone, laptop, desktop, TV, security cam, and more. Stream, chat, text, download, and make phone calls, all with no roaming fees. With mesh capability, the Love Pods will grow in strength and speed with each new pod activated to create a private terrestrial-based intranet called Love Global Network. The Love Pods are dual blockchain encrypted with Love's proprietary 2048-bit cube chain encryption, giving you the ultimate protection in data privacy and security against digital attacks and hacks to your devices. You are no longer tracked, and your data is never sold. Get the Love Pod, your private, encrypted, portable global internet Wi-Fi hotspot, and stay safe and stay connected.
Are you being priced out of healthcare? Tired of the prices skyrocketing and having to go to doctors dictated by a network? We feel your pain and have the solution, a nonprofit approach that is ethical and affordable. Take a moment to learn about a way that works better and feels better than health insurance.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stockham, and I'm host of Simply Sarah. Join me Thursdays at 3 p.m. Pacific on the Achieve TV network for the best energetic tools to elevate your amazing life right here on E360 TV.
All right, welcome back, everybody. Oh, caught you off guard there.
Yeah, my thermostat was a little too warm. I can feel myself getting a little flush.
No, we don't need that. No. Yeah.
I got the lights going on. You got me doing the studio lights and all that stuff.
Oh, I totally get it, man. I'm in the same. Yeah, I'm in a. This is a very small space right here, so I get it. I get the same way. It's like, whoa, where's the fan? That's my next ad for the studio, is a fan. That would be great. So, all right. So let's dive in here a little bit. Let's talk about the group, and we kind of touched on how it came to be and how everybody kind of worked together to make it happen, which was awesome. And so now where has it gone? What has it done? Tell me some stories, man. Have you gotten any really cool like feedback from stuff that's come out of it, or what's been happening lately?
Well, we always need a mentor. If we're going to go from victim to victor, there's always going to be a series of stages, steps, and it can go over decades. Just thinking there's going to be a pivotal moment, whether it's as a mother raising her children or in a marital situation and dealing with challenges, illnesses, or like what you experienced in your personal situation. There's always steps that you have to go through. And sometimes you feel as though you're going forward only to go backwards. So I think what I found over time was a lot of women were going through similar feelings that I went through. Maybe not the same exact thing. Some people went through some, horrific operations, one after another. For instance, I met a woman in college that did that. So we all have our crosses to bear and demons that we must face. Yeah. And I think during the most difficult times is some of the ladies in WOW have approached me, whether it was, hey, I need a job, I'm being displaced, much like I was many years ago, doing our best at WOW, trying to fit them or connect them with someone who can help them, turning them on to someone. I want to be an entrepreneur like you. How can I do that? I don't have much money. What do you suggest I do? And then connecting them with the members of WOW that can help them. Of course, I can connect them, much like you can connect other people. If we spend all of our time helping everybody with every situation, we would not then pursue our goals and our dreams and our passions. Right. So I would say a lot of times it was just a matter of building the WOW network, figuring out what I want to be when I grow up, how I want WOW to look. I always had the passion to be with women, even when I was a little girl, bringing everybody together as a teenager, bringing everybody together to the party as a young adult, bringing the couples all together as, moms, bringing them together. And then when I went into the world of business and had a occupation in mortgage, it was about entering into the community and finding out what networking was about, building those relationships, establishing rapport, finding like-minded other people, and realizing that there were other women out there who wanted to do what I was doing, which was be the best that they can be.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so cool when there's a community about that, and especially one's focused on women. So if there is somebody out there, if I'm at the supermarket or walking down the street or whatever, or my wife or somebody is, and they meet somebody and they're like, I don't know where to go. I'm not really sure where I belong. I'm not like, I want to do this, but I'm not sure, what would be the first thing or if you run into somebody like that too, what's the first thing you would tell them to do to get on the right path?
Well, number one, I'm a believer in threes. And I believe that you need to have 3 entities that you connect with, whether it's a virtual networking group. And I tell ladies this, energy, you spoke of energy earlier, which is how we met. And also something like WOW. WOW is going to be different in that, number one, we're not going to charge these absorbent, outrageous fees.
Oh, okay.
We want to make sure that we're doing the right thing by these people. When I meet someone, it's not always a good fit. Sometimes the ladies that I meet, they're looking for a more corporate type relationship. So I chose to work with ladies who are just starting in a career, small business, because I feel like their voices can't be heard. Also, they get taken advantage of very easily and way too often. Yeah. And I felt that's where I step in to make sure that we're having those conversations. If need be, it could be a couple of conversations over a period of time. And then again, connecting them with people that are going to do the same, that they're going to look out for their best interests.
Nice. Yeah, no, that's important. It's huge. Yeah, because there's a lot of networking out there that, I've experienced a lot of it too, that does not, I don't know. Yeah. Some of them charge for the networking. Some of them don't. But if it's not delivering what you want, it doesn't matter if you're paying for it or not. It's not useful to you.
And that's a good
find
point.
One that is,
Yeah. What's your barometer? As some people, interestingly enough, I've spoken with a lot of women who tell me they're spending like thousands of dollars and they're not attending events. They're not following through. They're not with referrals. They're not doing these things and they just become complacent. And I think it's good to just look at yourself in the mirror a little bit. And instead of complaining, which is something I think we tend to do, it's easy to find someone to complain with. Misery loves company, right?
Right.
And what's really fabulous is when you find people who really want to build you up, who want to mentor you, who don't want you resting on your laurels. Yeah. They don't want you getting your championship crown and then wearing it and thinking that's all I need to do. No, you have more to do. There's more work to do. Let's get busy, push up those shirt sleeves and let's do some work.
Nice. Exactly. I love that you said that because it's true. Yeah. You can't sit on your butt and just wish and hope and pray and have things just fall in your lap. It's not how it works. So So it's funny because time flies, and here we are. We're almost out of time. So I wanted to just encapsulate this episode. We've got about 3 minutes left. In 2 minutes, what would you like to leave our audience with at the end of the show here?
Well, I actually prepared something for this to leave on a positive note and something for people to think about. And that is the pivotal moments of my success, from indigence to wage earner to being revered as a high performer and respected by my peers in the community, replaced the failures of my past. And they totally converted me. Every painful moment, teardrops fallen, and fears of economic disaster would be replaced with the confidence I was able to raise my 3 children and lead and support the many women I have met along the way today. And that's taking that victim mentality and shoring it up to a victor. But again, regardless of what your challenge is in life, each one of us, it's monumental to us because it's happening to us. It's affecting our children. It's affecting our well-being, our finances. Right. And I think each one of us finds difficulty, but in time, you replace that fear with confidence, because I have said multiple times, I no longer know fear except for going snorkeling. I don't like getting my face wet. But
okay, all right.
Truly, there are a lot of steps to take along the way, whether you're healing from a medical condition or a pre-existing or a continuing condition, or something of mental, emotional trauma, substance abuse, whatever it happens to be. And it's just taking baby steps, and it could lead to decades before you get to a point where you're feeling confident.
Yeah. So don't quit, basically.
No, I did not quit. I tried to quit a couple of times, and luckily someone saved me at one time in particular, to help me out of that really bad situation. But sometimes it can go to that extreme, but giving up should not be an option. Failing is what you need to realize also is a learning experience.
That's what it should be. That's right. Exactly. I love that. And I'm so glad that we got to do this. I'm so glad that I met you, and that we connected, and that we were able to do this, and that we were able to get this story out to our audience, and that you're rocking it. You're kicking butt, man.
I'm enjoying it, because we just started a podcast August 19th. It's called, on YouTube, it's called Optimize Her Too. One of the girls, NRG, LaQuincia Nichols of experiencecoaching.com, and we're co-creators in this. So, it goes on and on and on. So lots of joy. Now I live with a sense of pride that has replaced all that shame I felt many years ago. And I have learned to live with those things. It's part of me. I can't change it. If I could, I would.
Of course. So, but that's all right. We are the product of our decisions in our life, and and we wouldn't be the same people if it weren't happening like that. So
that's 100% true statement.
Yeah. So man, thank you, Barbara, for being here and being so willing to share, and for doing what you're doing. It's amazing. Thank you.
Well, I really appreciate you inviting me to come on your show here. Invisible Condition. I'm sure there's a lot of people out there. I think of them just walking around in the streets, or our neighbors and so forth, and we have no idea who they are. So have some compassion towards others, because we have a tendency to think it's about us, and something could be happening really bad in somebody's life. And
that's right.
Being kind to other people and opening your heart and your mind to them, that's all part of this process. We're all on this journey together.
Beautiful. I love it. Thank you for being here, and stick around so we can chat afterward, but thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it.
All right, Jeff.
Awesome. All right, everybody. Join us for our next show. Thank you for being here, by the way. We're so thankful that you're here, and that you've been with us to hear this amazing story. Thank you for being here. Join us for our next show, Tuesday, November 4th, and we'll see you next time.